Welcome again, everybody. Gareth, we've got a nice episode of the podcast tonight. I know you're really keen to have a chat with Tony Southern. So am I myself. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, actually. He's a massive success recently in the WorldAbility Games Gold, of course. Should be interesting to hear a little bit of the background around that tournament, because, I've said to Tony, forgive me ignorance, but I'm not don't know a whole lot about that event or the tournament. So it'd be nice to get a bit of information about that.
I totally agree with you, mate. Yeah, I don't think we should hesitate and not get him on straight away. I'm so looking forward to this interview. Let's bring him on.
Yeah, let's get him in. Tony, are you
Hi.
right?
Yes,
Thanks for coming on. I was just mentioning to Gareth. Forgive my ignorance, I said, but I'm not too au fait with the WorldAbility games. Just well done. Firstly,
gold. Absolutely, we've got a gold medalist here. Well done, Tony Southern.
It's brilliant. But he's even got
it. Hey, right, bring it.
Hold it a bit close to Tone. Is it etched and things? Yeah, look at that. There we go.
Oh, absolutely. God, what a proud man holding his medal. Look at that.
That's brilliant.
And it's all on the back as well, with whatever event it is in that.
No, it was snooker.
That's off to you,
snooker, yeah.
So yeah, just kicking off on that. How did that? Has it always been a thing or is it recent years, or
no? It's only a recent.
Does it all sort of work?
It's only a recent event. How it came about is the previous governing bodies of wheelchair sport, sort of world body, and sport for those with cerebral palsy, other sort of walking disabilities, they joined together a couple of years ago, and they had their own sort of international games, and they put that together to form this the WorldAbility Games. And I'm sure Thailand this December was the first time that was held. Regarding the snooker side of it, World Billiards and Disability Sport, they're the disability arm of the World Professional Tour. So we're run by a guy called Nigel Mauer, who's the vice chairman of World Professional Snooker. He's the guy who does all the work. For example, on when the Chinese players all got the bans, etc., in the summer, he's sort of disciplinary chair and the lead body on that. He's our chairman, and we were formed about 8 years ago. So they've been working hard on sort of trying to expand disability snooker, and we've sort of started small in 2015. I was actually at a meeting with them and Jason Ferguson from World Snooker to set it all up. And we've gone from a couple of events around the country, and now we've had events in Ireland, we've had events in Germany and Poland, and they had sort of an event over in China as well, which they sort of give their authority for people in China to run the event on their behalf.
Yeah.
And then about a year ago, we were told that there may be a chance of getting snooker in this WorldAbility Games, and we didn't really get confirmation till sort of late autumn, so we didn't have a lot of preparation time.
Quite a last minute decision.
Yeah, it was a bit of last minute, but it was fantastic. There was 14 or 15 other sports over there. You're talking, there was athletics, there was sort of a para football and stuff like that. But we were basically, our arena, we had a floor of the hotel where Rasson brought 6 tables in.
Superb.
Put 6 Mac tables in, all live scoring, live streamed, etc. Really beautiful venue. And if you think the star tables are tight, the Rasson tables are even tighter.
I've seen them, the Rasson tables. I know exactly exactly where you're coming from.
They are. And we took I think there was 35 players in total across the disability groups. And just to explain that a bit further, the players are divided into groups based on their disability. So say, for example, group 1, that's people who have more than 80% of their time in a wheelchair, but they also may have a trouble forming a bridge. So maybe with a hand issue as well. Group 2 is the one I'm in, is those who wheelchair, whose upper body is fairly okay. Mm-hmm. And then we have a group 3, which was the standing players with the arm issues. They may have an amputation, they may have a shortened arm, they may have sort of version of thalidomide, etc.
Yeah.
We had a group 4 standing as those with leg issues only. So you may have someone standing with cerebral palsy or polio, or we have one guy who sort of had hip replacements, crumbling hips, and can't really stand for very long. And then we have group 5, which is sort of a miscellaneous group where we've got players who may have an amputation, but it doesn't really impact the game, and a great deal. We have one guy called Mickey Chambers. He didn't go to Thailand. He's actually an amputee England international and a leading scorer. I've just heard last night he's just got a 147 in a league match.
Oh wow, superb!
He's on the board of WDBS. So it's www.wdbs.info if anyone wants any information about the snooker side of it. But we took 35 players from around the world, and we're talking those players from England. We had players from India. We had players from China. We had quite a few from Thailand as well, and other countries. So basically, we were there for a week. So we had 2 days sort of on and off. Then we had a practice day, and then we had a three-day tournament.
Yeah.
But we had a fantastic opening ceremony, and with all the players from all the different sports. When we're finished, I'll send you some links, so maybe you can put a few links on that.
Yeah,
sure,
videos and stuff of that.
So, Tom, was you sponsored for that?
The organisation WDBS provided the sponsorship for the hotel and the sort of accreditation fees. The players just had to find their own flight money, etc. So what I did, I set up a GoFundMe page. So I had, as I said before, we didn't have really a lot of time to do this. So one of my cousins, Tom Southern, his firm, RW Invest, put up £500, and then the rest of it I got donations from friends and stuff. But I've got quite a few sponsors myself, including Predator, Tiger Q's Warrington, Taomi Tips, Snooker Specs, Ian Lloyd Taxis. All helps a little bit,
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's some great sponsors. That's more than a lot of the standard American pool players get anyway in the UK.
Yeah,
that's right. List you're reading off.
Yeah, I've been doing it quite a long time. So the snooker side of it, 5 different events, all done in group stage first, and then into sort of semi-finals and final.
So what was the match length too on those? Was it just
like best of 3? I think it was best of 5s. It was it was actually a 6 red event. 6 red event. For the first time they were doing it. So and then semi-finals and final. I managed.
And you snapped off the gold medal, young man.
Yeah, 35 break, which was not bad on the 6 red format.
6 red format. I mean, that's a decent little break.
The joint highest break across all the categories as well. So one of my colleagues, Gary Swifty, won the Group 1, I'll think of his name, etc. One of the other British players won the Group 4 one as well, but his name escapes me in a second. I'll find it.
Okay. How many British players went out there, Tone?
About 15.
Okay,
15, I think, out of the 35 who were over there.
God, you can definitely count on the Brits, can't you?
Oh yeah, and part of WDBS is to expand the game around the world so we can get back in the Paralympics, because snooker's not been in the Paralympics since 1988, when the wheelchair event was in. Before I started playing from a wheelchair, the wheelchair event was in. So the fighting now to get sort of Q Sports back at that level,
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great if they could do that.
Yeah.
Is that your main? Is that your main discipline that you started out with, Tone, on your Q Sports?
Well, yeah, when I first started playing Q Sports when I was like 14, I'm 54 now, 55 next month, and they had there was a disability organisation called BSAD, which is British Sports Association for the Disabled. I went down to play in a regional event that I heard of, won it, went to the nationals at 16, won that, and then continued. I was standing up then in sort of Group 4 until I got too bad I had to play for my chair. And I think over the next 30 years that they run it, I think I won it 26, 27 times. And then,
I bet they loved you, didn't they?
They loved me, yeah. I had a couple of aces. best of 3 matches, sort of couple of 80 breaks, which wasn't bad at that level. But I used to play on the Pro-Am Tour as well in the 90s. I was sponsored to go on the Pro Tour when it was open in the early 90s, but the sponsorship fell through, unfortunately. But yeah, always played at a good league standard, and sort of good county standard at English pool as well. I also play American pool as well. I play all three. And within a week, or sort of within 2 weeks, I won a big event in each of the disciplines. We have an English pool wheelchair tour, which is affiliated both to we've got the black ball side and we've got the English, the international rules side. So we got invited by Ultimate Pool to do a wheelchair showcase event in Blackpool.
Was that quite recently? Because I think I remember seeing about that.
I managed to win that.
Oh God. I bet they want to see the back of you, don't they, at the minute? Everyone.
That was quite good.
And Tony again, he's mopping everything up.
Yeah, I know. And then we went from there, from Blackpool down to Manchester for the BWPPA, which is the tour that I run, which is the British Wheelchair Pool Players Association. And we play American pool. We have 4 or 5 events a year.
So how many players are on that, Tony? Because I mean, I know you from the American pool side.
I managed to snap off the 9-ball UK title that weekend as well. I beat the same guy, Dave Beaumont, who's been dominating it this year, and I beat him in the Blackpool one, and then beat him on the Sunday. Which was quite a change because he's battered me all year.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good players. I mean, when I was playing American pool on the tours years ago, I always remember you got like Roy Kimberley, who's Aslam.
Roy's still playing, yeah.
I haven't seen Roy for years. What's he doing? Is he still playing?
Roy actually beat me in the European Black Ball Championships over in Malta a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay, so he's still playing then.
We were over in Malta, yeah, and Aslam's not playing American pool now. He's still playing English, and he's playing a bit of snooker as well. I've managed to get him over to the snooker as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, the one just gone. Yeah. I mean, all good players. I mean, people don't realise. I mean, the standard is good.
Dave Beaumont's like top level county player. Roy won the World Black Ball last year and then won the European this year. He actually tin-hatted me in the European final. And then I won the gold in the team event, and we took the lot between us. And then 3 weeks later, we're doing the Ultimate Pool one. So it's been a busy few weeks.
It's been busy then.
So is the British Organisation for American Pool, is that a subsidiary of the BPPA that was out years ago?
No, they basically gone now. You've got World Pool Association for the American pool, and then you've got the EPBF. Then you've got the British Pool Federation, which I run. And that's for the professional and amateur players who want to play in European and WPA events. Currently, that's before all this rigmarole with what's going on with Matchroom. Which, And then underneath that, you've got the BWPPA affiliated to BPF. So the wheelchair players' main event really is the European Championships, where we play a lot. We play alongside the men and the women and the under 23s. So there's different categories. But when the finals come on, you'll have the men on table 1, you'll have the women on table 2 for the final. We'll be on table 3, and maybe the under 23s will be on table 4. So it's all together.
That's quality, yeah.
No one's sort of prioritized over the other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But there's loads of politics in that at the minute, because not only have you got the Matchroom issue over, and they want exclusivity really on their players. WPA, I think they've given the players a deadline of March to say, well, if you consistently play with Matchroom, you're no longer going to be able to play in the WPA or the EPPF events.
Yeah.
I know there's a big meeting going on, a virtual meeting at the end of January for the European bodies, just to put their viewpoint on that. But it's not a nice situation, because I've been there with the politics for English pool years ago. Where people were banned from playing black ball when they were playing English world rules, and vice versa. And the other issue you've got now as well, I don't know if you know, but in black ball, the same EPBF who run American pool are now the WPA's official arm of black ball.
Yeah.
But they're not recognised really by any of the European countries, because they're still they split from Blackpool International last year. So they're running their own events. But you're going to come a time where WPA will say, if you play on them in Blackpool, you can't play for us for the American pool.
Right, yeah, gotcha.
So
Yeah.
it's politics. It's all beep word.
It's a shame. It's a shame that things have to come this way. But I mean,
I just think, even from my point of view, from the wheelchair side and the professional and amateur side, as long as they're not deliberately clashing events, let players play. It's not as if there's big money in it. Look at the money. Look at the money in the World Championship. I think I've worked out the World Championship pot is 8% of what the snooker one is. So Matchroom are trying to grow it. I don't agree with everything they've done, but they are trying to grow it because no one else is.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to. I mean, I've always said, the production quality on the Matchroom events is just getting better every event.
Yeah.
I mean, you got more streaming now on the first few days on the YouTube, which is great. Everyone can watch it. It's opening up the game for more people to watch. They're always trying to make the conditions as good as they can be for the players and the spectators. It's just like say a shame that it's having to come to the fact where people may have to make a choice. And I've seen more things, of course, from Matchroom that they've got ex-players signed up for them now and all this. And it's like a few a day they're pushing. I don't know if you've seen them things that they're putting out.
I saw Jason's being the first one.
Yeah, Jason was the first. And I think Billy Thorpe and
was
some
there
other
a couple
one.
of days later, wasn't he?
I think I've
seen. I have to wait for my invite and then turn them down.
Yeah. Well, you've already said you want to play on the Euro tours anyway.
Yeah, I have. I've committed to the Euro tour, me personally. My reasonings are, it's more to do with I love the way Gree and David run the events. That's first and foremost. It's perfect. I love the hotel setup. I like everything about it. I like the idea of going into brand new tables, brand new cloths, and all that. I love all that. Yeah. But the main thing is I like the idea that you're going to play 6 or 7 Euro tours and they're in Europe. I don't want to travel. I don't think a lot of people, like for example, the British guys, who's going to travel to Vietnam or to the US Open? Not many of them. So they're going to only be playing on a couple of events throughout Europe. And I like the idea of playing consistently every couple of months on the Euro tour. So that's why I've chose that at this stage. That's my
issue. I think the issue some of the top players had with the Euro tours, I think, was the value for money, wasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Like GB9, where you've got to get to the semis or whatever to break even. You're getting hit with like 144 players, probably 60 of them have got a chance of cashing in.
Yeah. That's the thing, and it does surprise me. I was talking to our last interview. Who was it with Matt? Oh, the two, Jan and Tom Ames.
Tom Ames and Jan, yeah.
I think there's only probably 20 or 30 players, Tone, that can actually realistically win the Matchroom events. Yeah. And I think the other guys, what an opportunity they got to play in all like the World Championship 8-ball event, the 10-ball event, the Qatar Open. That's big money. And they're all committing to think that they can go and win the English Open, and they can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they're missing out on that scenario. I really do. I don't think they're thinking straight.
No, it's just a pity they have to choose.
Yeah,
because I know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think what didn't help, I think it was last year, wasn't it, when Matchroom, it was either the UK Open or was it the UK Open they scheduled at the same time as the European Championships?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, which you think sort of didn't go down well with EPBF and WPA. Not surprisingly, because they ended up having a lot of their players who didn't turn up. Because a lot of the Europeans, as you probably know, are government funded or sports association funded. For example, the Dutch get paid, I think it's 20,000 euros for getting a medal.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it, if it was the same for you lot, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've got a shed full of medals and no money to go with it.
Can smelt them all down, Tony.
Yeah, but I would like to add, like I say, I've played on a couple of the Matchroom events and they are absolute quality. The setup's great, the people are great, everything about it's great, but that's my come from. So I've got nothing. Yeah. There's no like from me either or, but the value for me is just the fact that I can play them extra events.
If you look at the way the darts have gone over the years, and the same scenarios there with the darts, wasn't it? And in the end, the PDC won, and the BDO ended up basically being the amateur arm of the game. I don't know whether Matchroom think that it's going to go down that same way, you know.
Yeah, they'll have like maybe the Premier League kind of event, like the darts as their equivalent, where you've got the top 16 players. You know, maybe, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But possibly that's a route they could go down if it all starts getting.
Yeah, but it's only early days, and they've only been
of course it is
3 years. So darts, it took darts 30 years to get to where it is now, with £500,000 first prize.
That's great.
They're basically the same level as the snooker now with the prize money, where pool's maybe on about 10% of that at most.
Yeah, that's got to be, isn't it?
You mentioned the GB9 actually a minute ago. What's your stance with the new? Well, I say the new GB9, but the GB9 opening up. I mean, are they going to have? Is that of any interest to yourself?
Probably not this year, because I've got a hell of a lot on. Because as I say, I'm not only doing the snooker for WDBS, and I'm a player rep for the board as well. So we've got basically 4 or 5 events, including Belgium, possibly Germany, and probably Ireland. Again this year, I've got 4 or 5 events for the BWPPA, plus possibly the European Championships in the spring, and that's going to be probably my last one. Not because of all the politics, because it's getting a bit too much, you know, so many events. And then I've got the English Pool Tour, and then we've got Euros and Nations Cup, World Championship. So I think last year I worked it out when I came back from Thailand. I think I played in 30 events, different events, won 7 finals and 14 semi-finals or something like that.
It's good record.
I was away for sort of 3 out of every 4 weekends, you know, so it's getting a bit much.
Yeah,
I'm doing all the admin stuff, all the side of BWPPA, and also the British Pool Federation as well. So
this is pretty much a full-time affair then, by the sound of it, Tony. I mean, do you do anything else, or is this just?
No, I don't. I got medically retired from the civil service a few years ago with back issues. So I don't really practice a lot, but I don't get much time to practice, to be honest with you. But
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, if you're winning all these things, surely you must have a bit of practice time or something. I mean, what's the secret?
I've done about 2 hours before I went to Thailand.
Are you really rubbing it in now?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You took the words out of my mouth there, Matt. That's superb.
I've always been the sort of player who, no matter how much I practice, when I get my cue out my bag, in case when they hold the cue in your hand, I know I'm going to play.
Yeah.
If it sits right, it sits right. If it doesn't, you're going to play rubbish.
I always did that sometimes, you know, on the GB9 ball tour, because you'd be allowed a frame practice before your match, and sometimes I got to the table and the other guys had his frame, and they say, "You're all right to have your game like to?" I said, "No, I'm all right. I'll just carry on. You know, I'm bothered."
Yeah. I've always been pretty similar, you know, like that. Some days it works, some days it doesn't.
Yeah, sometimes it does it again. It's like it sets your opponent thinking as well. Oh, he doesn't want to even practice. What's up with him? And then you start hammering them sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My original idol on the snooker table, Alex Higgins, used to do exactly the same thing. He said when he put his cue in his hand when he was breaking off, he knew how he was going to play.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I got a little story about Higgins back in 92, 94, that era, when he was at the end of his career. I went to play a snooker tournament over in Eindhoven, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was playing on one table and he was playing on the next table, but he wasn't. They called the matches and he wasn't there. I've still got the program with it for it, and he wasn't there. And someone had said he was down the local betting shop. Right. So anyway, he's gone. They've run off to get him. They've brought him back. He's come in about 15 minutes later. He's come running in. The 10 o'clock games have started, and he's asked the bar staff for a pint of milk. So he's down the milk, and then his next drink that came was half of beer, and the rest of it was fill up with whiskey. He downed it all. He downed a lot of it, and he played like God, mate. It was something special.
Unbelievable. Definitely a one-off.
I'll tell you, absolute one-off. What a legend, eh?
I only ever sort of met him once. Went over to the Isle of Man when I was a teenager, when he was world champion. He did like an exhibition tournament over there. I think it was him, Cliff Thorburn, Bill Werberook, and John Spencer. You know, what a talent. What an absolute talent.
Yeah, absolute legend, wasn't he? Absolutely. Yeah, that year of 82, he was just unstoppable, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah. I think I was 13 watching that on the telly.
God,
Long time ago.
It was,
it was a
wasn't
few
it?
years back. I'm a bit before my time, that one. But I mean, I was always a
Nah, you
massive
can always
snooker fan.
YouTube it, you kids.
Snooker fan in the
Yeah.
80s, you know, growing up through it. I mean, there was a good documentary actually the BBC did a few years back called When Snooker Ruled the World. I
Yes,
don't know if
That's
you
it.
ever
very
seen that.
good one.
And it was a brilliant document. Alex Higgins popped up in that a few times, of course, you know, but
Have you
yeah, it
watched
was,
the Rack Pack?
yes.
The
Yeah, I've seen that as well. That was
drama
good.
one we did about Alex and Jimmy.
Yeah, that was
I
good
haven't
as well.
seen that. I suppose that's on YouTube. I
No,
haven't
so you
seen that.
get on BBC iPlayer, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, can
very
you? The
good.
Rack Pack.
The
Yeah,
Rack,
yeah, yeah.
RACK Pack.
It was
All
about
right,
the
yeah,
match
I'll
room
check
as
that
well,
out.
wasn't it? How
Yeah.
that sort of formed.
About Alex's rise and fall, bit with Jimmy as well.
Oh,
Very
but that's
good.
awesome, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, good little watch that one is as well. Well, what about going forward with your next sort of tournaments, Tony? I mean, when's your next competition?
Well, the WDBS tour starts again the second weekend the second weekend in January, the 14th and 15th. It's 13th, 14th, I think it is, down in Woking. That's the first on the list this year. And then I'm going over to Malmo in February for the Malmo Open, and that's American pool. That's 8-ball and 9-ball. And then the snooker again then goes to Belgium in Bruges at the Trick Shot Club, where they host the women's Bruges Open in March. And then in April, I think the English pool starts again.
Yeah.
So yeah, and hopefully we got like Nations Cup this year at Bridlington. We're just waiting for the dates on that. But one of my diary for the later on in the summer is that as head of BPF, British Pool Federation, I've been invited over to China.
Oh wow!
For the Chinese 8-ball championship to watch as a sort of dignitary.
Oh,
are we talking about the hay-ball kind of stuff now? That 8-ball, or is it like American 8-ball? Or?
I think it's American pool. I only got it recently, but it's come through from EPBF that all the federation heads have been invited over, sort of hotel and flight paid for.
Oh, well, you've obviously said no to that one, Zone.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing on my mind. Yeah.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Well,
that's awesome, mate.
Have you played that American 8-ball, not American 8-ball, that Chinese 8-ball before?
I've only played it. I've only had to go on a snooker table. I haven't played on an actual Chinese 8-ball table.
Tell you what, them actual tables are brutal.
But when I'm talking to Daz Appleton and stuff like that, you know, they are brutal.
I played on one a few of the week, and I managed a couple of clearances off the break, but the pockets are ridiculous down the rail. You roll a ball down the rail,
it's no go, isn't it?
You've got to be like 99.5% accurate, otherwise it
when
won't
you
go
can't see the pocket opening when you're looking down the rail. And when I was over in Thailand, the bloody Rassons were like that. They really were. I've never.
I know the Rassons.
I've never played on anything so tight.
Got a rep, but that Chinese 8-ball, it's really gaining a bit of ground. I mean, I've seen a tournament. A big tournament. It was like one of the biggest tournaments that they've got for it. I don't know whether it's Joy or whoever else it is, but
was it a $500,000 prize month?
I think it was that one. But there was a qualifier. There's a qualifier event for it. Listen to this, right? You can go over there, and I think it said something like, they'll pay for your hotel and your entry while you're there. You've just got to get your flights over there, and they'll pay for everything.
Wow.
For you to have a go at qualifying for the big tournament.
Excellent.
I mean, the flight. I don't know how much the flights to China are, but
that's fair enough, though, isn't it? That's an offer in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounded interesting. But don't forget, there's a lot of good players at that game over in China.
Yeah.
A lot of good players.
Talking about that, going on to China, Tony, I see a lot of these Chinese players on the TV, like in snooker. Is it really big out in China? Do forgive my ignorance on it. In general, is it a really big sport out there?
Snooker's very big in China. They've got the record for the biggest attendance at a snooker final. I think there was 9,000 at the Shanghai Masters last year watching Ronnie.
Right.
But when the likes of Ding and that is playing at the Crucible, you've got hundreds of millions of people watching on television.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
What the Chinese do in snooker, like they do in a lot of sports, they have it in the schools. So their philosophy is if you throw 10,000 kids in playing snooker, eventually you're going to get a world champion.
Right.
Yeah. I think the British tried that philosophy when years ago when they weren't winning any medals at the Olympics, and we started doing, trying to their methods of sort of pushing people through, and that's where all the bullying stuff came with, the sports in the last few years. But I don't think in China they've got that issue. They're looking at the end game, aren't they?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
At the end game, there's hundreds of thousands of people playing it. There's clubs all over the place. You see RAS on all the time with adverts saying just installed another 30 tables at this club in China.
Right, so okay, yeah. Yeah, I've been
Hey,
out of snooker league quite.
Just Matt Lester's just chipped in a comment here. I know Matt, I haven't seen him for a long time as well, but he's a good player. And he just put a good comment up, like, with not many clubs around these days, let alone clubs with wheelchair access and snooker academies having high fees. What do you think we as players or the organisation can do? I know we've spoken about it privately, Tony says, but wanted to open it up as a discussion. I mean, it's interesting. I mean,
yeah, he's spot on. He's right, because I've been affiliated with Riley's since about 1990. I think they had 120 clubs at that point. I think they got 13.
I think it's less than 10 now.
13, the last count I had, maybe less now.
Yeah.
I think they've done his administration 5 times in that period. And they don't. Well, it's not a case they don't care about the tables. They haven't the funds to do what they need to attract the players that would benefit from decent tables, because all they really want is people buying drinks and food, and then the pool and the snooker is a bit of a side issue.
Yeah, fruit machines, isn't it?
Fruit machines and that. So as Matt says, there's a lot of the ones that are left aren't very accessible, and there aren't that many. Even great clubs like the Northern Snooker Centre,
Yes, I've been there before.
It's not really accessible. You can't get to the bar or the toilets. You can get into the club from the back, but you can't really get anywhere further. We're actually lucky enough in the BWPPA. We're now at JJ Falls Club in Whitefield, Savannahs.
I'm going there tomorrow. They've got a big they've got a tournament.
Yeah, they have got a tournament on there tomorrow, and they can't do enough for us. They're so hospitable, and they're even now building, expanding now, and putting a disabled toilet in and ramp access, so we can hold more of our events there and get more players. And I can't speak highly enough of JJ and Christine.
I'll do a little video myself tomorrow at the club, because I'm not. I mean, I know some of the other guys I play with went on the tournament on the 27th. I wanted to go to that, to be honest, but couldn't make it. And they spoke really highly. The club saying it was a great club, and
I've got family stuff on this weekend. Otherwise, I'd have been there myself.
Oh right.
yeah. I've met JJ a few times. A lovely bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he really
is. That's where they won that 9-ball UK championship the other week at JJ's.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Yeah, really nice club. The only issue we had is the toilet wasn't accessible for a lot of players, so we had a few players who couldn't go. But now we're gonna sort of hold off our events until the work's done in the spring, and hopefully, it'll be all.
I mean, it'd be good to
more players down there.
It's interesting. I mean, a lot of clubs though. You say a lot of the older Riley's clubs and other independent clubs, they do tend to be on like the second or third floor of big buildings.
A lot of them are old cinemas and bingo halls.
Yeah.
Places like that. And you get some like Solihull, which is a good place.
Well, that's my main sort of bag there, Solihull.
You'd have to use a sort of a waste disposal lift to get up to it and stuff like that.
I remember having to carry Roy Kimberley down the stairs a few times because the tables are in a bit of a dip. You go down a few.
Yeah.
I remember. I thought it was
you're still able to move.
Yeah, I mean,
it's carrying Roy.
I hope he's not listening.
Look at
Yeah, I mean, because I had the one at Birmingham. I think there was a Riley's there. I've never been there before. I know that one's not open anymore, I don't think. But there was a load of
now called there's not. I think the old Birmingham Riley's is now called the Beer Keller.
Oh, okay.
I think it's still a club. We did have an event there, but unfortunately the tables weren't up to much cop, so we had to move out. We did have an academy at Stoke Mandeville, the home of the Paralympics. We bought 8 tables to put in there, so we had an academy for like 6 or 7 years. But unfortunately, the building got condemned that we were in, and they didn't offer us any alternative place to put the table. So we ended up selling the tables and trying to move back to clubs. Now that's why we're back at sort of Savannahs.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going tomorrow to see you know.
So how many clubs have you got throughout the country that you play at? Is it just Savannah's, Tone?
Well, for now we're just playing at Savannah's.
Right, yeah.
We've got a couple of options maybe coming up in London. One of our players is going to do sort of a video tour down there, because obviously most of the players can get to Savannah's quite easily, but some who think, well, it's about time we had one a bit further down south, you know.
Yeah, because there's a couple of clubs that ring to bell for me that have got good access. One's at Red Hill. They got a lift there.
Yeah.
And the other one, and you're straight onto the floor. And the other one is Raging Bull in High Wycombe.
When we finish there, would you send me the details?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
thank you very much.
I think that could be quite accommodating for you to consider.
Yeah, yeah, and we do the English pool one is done at the Towers in Mansfield. You ever been to that one?
No.
That's where Harvey Elmstall, who's the manager of the England men's team, and that they do all their qualifiers and trials and stuff there as well. So yeah, it's a really good club.
So Tony, let's get on to your winning spree. Tell us about. A little Dicky bird told me that you've won quite a few tournaments over the past couple of years. Go on, indulge us, mate. Right across the spectrum.
Across the spectrum, I've probably since I started playing, I won 30 national UK snooker disability titles. I've won 8 on the BWPPA tour, American pool, 4 European finals in the American pool, no goals yet, and twice world quarterfinalist in the 9-ball. On the snooker, I think I've won about 10 ranking events on the snooker, including 2 UK titles in the last couple of years, and English pool, the gold in the team at the Europeans. I think I've had like 4 or 5 finals on the UK tour that's been going 2 years, and obviously winning the ultimate pool one. The biggest one, the snooker in Thailand, probably eclipsed the 4.
I was going to say, is that probably your biggest?
I won 2 world wheelchair ones on the when it was World Rules at Blackpool.
Yeah,
and then I won the Blackpool Worlds in Scotland.
Do you know, mate? Just him looking up in the air, thinking he won title after title, hasn't he?
He's won that many.
I won that one. I won that. Well done, Tony.
Yeah, thank you very much.
What's your favourite game, Tony, out of all the Q sports?
It's still snooker.
Oh, I'm ending this then now. He said that, look. I've got to end it.
I still love the challenge because I used to play standing up, and I know how bloody difficult the game is.
Oh,
it's a damn sight more difficult playing sitting down.
Yeah, I can imagine.
If you can knock a 50 break in from a chair where you're playing 80% of your shots with the rest, it's the equivalent of knocking 100 in standing up.
Yeah,
easy. And I was a regular 100 break player when I was playing standing up. And it's a far more difficult game. I would say it's a factor of 5 for me, more difficult sitting down. Whereas English pool, there's not a lot of difference. Because you can play every shot, and American pool is probably fairly similar because there's not many shots that you can't play.
It's great that players like yourself are able to play. You know, and I've seen like some of the equipment that you use to assist yourself, of course, playing shots and things. And I was thinking the other day, you know, with snooker, when you're playing a shot with a rest at snooker, obviously you got the end of your cue in the cross of the rest, and obviously your back arms, you know, it's holding the cue, and it doesn't go, you know, you're trying to go in a straight line with it and you're going like this. Surely you could have an invention where there's like another X, not like right at the end of the cue as well, but halfway up or something that might, you know, you have to be a little bit higher up. Because if you've got your cue in 2 X's, in theory, it go backwards and forwards in a straight line.
In a straight line, yeah.
You know, and if you've lined the shot up perfectly and you push the cue through, surely it'll go through in a straight line and you pop the ball every time. What do you think about that?
It should do.
Make that sound easy, Tone.
If you look at your stance when you're playing any of the cue sports, the way you walk into a shot.
To try
and wheel into a shot, You
Oh
then,
God, it's
once
tricky.
you put your brakes on, you can sort of slightly adjust your hips and wiggle a bit. For the wheelchair player, you've got to take your brakes off and start all over again to try and adjust yourself to get into that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We use loads of different adaptations. You've got extendable rests. You've got sort of jump cue heads, which are like a perspex thing, so you can play jump shots. And here's a good one. If you can see this,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's called the K rest head, and that's like a you've got all the aspects: deep screw, top, middle.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
We have a guy called Mike Murphy who's an engineer, and he puts like a pneumatic attachment onto this, so like you push it in and off, just clips off, clips and
Yeah.
clip
Oh,
on,
okay.
put a new one on. So I've got like I've got a Mark Williams rest. Have you seen the Mark Williams ones? The
No.
double X.
Oh, yes,
No,
yes, I've
Yeah.
seen them.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's got like it's two X's next to each other, so you can use it as a tall rest for the
Oh,
spider.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
As a normal rest. And
Yeah.
a couple of little bits on that, so you can play the jump shots and stuff like that when you play an American pool. So I've got like a set of equipment in me English pool bag, including my English pool break, cue rest and stuff, and then I have my American pool bag. So I try to duplicate it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did
What
bring
cue do
along
you use? What cue do you use for American pool?
Predator Icon 3.
Okay,
One,
yeah.
what model? Because I like the 4.2. I do. I love that cue. Beautiful looking cue.
Icon 3, I think my one
Oh,
is.
it's just the 3 series. Yeah.
Yeah. But as a snooker player, I've always wanted one with a thinner butt. Because when I first started playing American, I thought it was too thick.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Because when you're holding it, the back
Yeah.
end, there's more to the butt on an American cue.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot more meat on an
Because of
American
the meat
pool.
on it, you know. So I did dally for a while. I did have a friend of mine who used to make cues, made me one that I could use for both. But then obviously I got involved with Predator, and they send you what they've got. But the one I have got now has got a slimmer butt on it than the standard one,
Yeah.
which is good. But you can still put the screw-in extension on it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, that's good.
Because you need all that. Yeah, you need all
I mean,
that.
it's great, like I say, that there's all this stuff to be able to assist you, to play all these different shots.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember even on a normal snooker perspective, there used to be a rest. I don't think it ever took off. It was called the hook, and it let you, if there was a ball in the way of the one you were,
Yeah.
you would put in the rest had like a bit. It was like a
curve.
like it was like a C shape in the
okay.
in the rest, so you could put it with the ball in the middle. I don't know whether it ever took off or not.
No, I don't think I've seen that one. I always remember the thing Steve Davis had. I used to put on the head of the rest.
I had one of them.
He called it a niblick.
Yeah.
I think I've got one of them. I've got one of them in my bag as well.
I've still got one in my old snooker case.
Hey,
Yeah, it just went on one of the corners, didn't it? One of the.
I had the one that you could put on your finger as well. It was like a thin thing, and you could put it on your finger and cue over a ball and all sorts of stuff.
Excellent.
But no, it's brilliant, all this technology. I mean, what sort of chalk are you using? Because I know there's a lot of different technology.
I'm using the V10. That's tell me.
The V10.
However you want to pronounce it.
Taum, I call it, but I don't know whether that's right or wrong.
V10,
but
yeah.
I know a lot of people are using that. I've not got any myself. I can't afford it. I'm too poor, It's how much is it a block these days? That stuff.
Well, I gave you the last one you had, didn't I? Have you got another one since?
No, you gave me a Predator piece of chalk,
Oh,
and
was it?
that went. That did. I used all that. Yeah.
I think it's about £14-15 a block.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I've seen chalk that's like 3 times the price of that. I'm Predator just done new chalk or something, and it's about 50 quid a block or something.
I haven't seen that one. I know the Predator sort of hexagonal chalk. I think is about £1 a block, but I haven't seen a dearer one.
No, I'm sure they did a new chalk in recent months, and
it
was
okay. I must have missed that
one. Pretty special stuff apparently. But anyway,
it was a gold dust.
Well, it might as well have been, I think. But I mean, it's mad. We had this chat with Steve Feeney. Like, people will spend loads of money on their equipment and everything else, but they won't be prepared to spend some money on some coaching.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mad, isn't it? And yet that coaching could be the thing that takes their game to the next level.
Yeah, which makes the queue worthwhile.
Which makes the queue even more worthwhile.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A guy I used to play snooker and a junior with a guy called Neil Johnson. And And Neil's a world-class snooker coach, and he's done a bit with me. He's coaching with Stan Moody at the moment.
Oh, yeah, and he plays at the Landywood club he does, which is only like 20 minutes from me. I mean, we play their snooker team in the West Midlands League that we play in.
We had our Champion of Champions event there for the WDBS.
Oh, it's a great club, isn't it? I mean, they've done a real good job on that club. Yeah,
they have. And Stan's a really nice kid. You know, I had a good few chats with him.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to watch him develop, because you'd think, you know, he's got all the potential to, and he's the right age as well, of course. You know,
definitely.
He's got time on his side.
Certainly
but it's brilliant. Well, Tony, look, I mean, it's been great having you on. I know you're a massive darts fan and you're keen to get onto the darts, so I don't want to keep you much longer, I don't think.
No,
but,
you're fine.
Who's your main tip on for winning that darts tournament? Who's your money on?
I think Michael Smith's going to win it again. I think he's just too solid. But MVG can never be counted out.
What stage are they down to at the moment, Tone? I know on it. We last 16. Oh, is it? Yeah,
last 16.
Yeah, I think it is actually. I mean, I've not managed to catch much of it myself this year. I know that young lad's doing really well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, the 30-year-old, 16-year-old,
the 35-year-old, 16-year-old.
Yeah. He must be getting slaughtered, Tony. He's got to be.
Well, the fans were singing "You've Got School" in the morning the other night when he was playing. I think he was last on. I think he was still playing at 11:30, and they were giving him some stick. But he was taking it all in good faith, you know.
Oh, fair play to him, mate.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. You know, like I say, he's got time on his side, hasn't he? I mean, even if he doesn't win this thing, he's going to obviously be back.
Yeah,
no doubt, future events, of course. But yeah, well, look, I mean, if you want to send us those links that you were saying earlier, we'll set Gareth. Well, me and Gareth can send you the information on those clubs as well, which might be of interest.
Yeah, I'll email them over to Tone straight away.
Yes.
But it's been.
Any websites you want us to advertise for you there, Tone? Put out for you?
Any what? Sorry.
Any websites in regards to your sponsors? Or
you've got bwppa.com. They're the wheelchair tour.
Yeah.
You've got wdbs.info. That's the snooker tour. I'll send you the English pool one later because it's a long name.
If you want to send us the links on the messenger, we can put them on. We'll attach them to this a video thread on our Facebook page, and then obviously we'll share that around, and then whoever wants to can.
If anyone wants to get in touch with me regarding Disability Q Sports, you can contact me at tonysouthern@bwppa.com. tonysouthern@bwppa.com. I'm happy to help.
Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Yeah. Well, Tony, make sure you follow us. You following darkSIDepool?
Yes.
Good man. And we'll follow you straight back if we're not already.
No problem. Thank you very much for your time, guys. I hope you have a great New Year.
And you, Tony. Thank you so much for coming on, Tony. And we've got a gold medalist world champion on the end. It's brilliant, mate. So thanks very much, Tony.
Cheers, everybody.
Okay. Cheers, Tony. Thanks.